The town of Ashmere was dying long before anyone noticed. Fog clung to its crooked streets like a living thing, swallowing sound and light. At the center of that forgotten place stood Saint Alora's Chapel, a church abandoned since 1958. The villagers said the bells still rang on nights with no wind, though the tower had fallen decades ago. They said the dead still prayed there. When Dr. Amelia Frost arrived, she didn't believe a word of it. A historian chasing lost architecture, she came armed with a camera, a notebook, and the arrogance of disbelief. The innkeeper's warning, "Don't stay after dark," made her laugh. On her second night, she found the chapel through the fog. The roof sagged, the stained glass was shattered, and ivy crawled up its bones. Yet, as she entered, a strange warmth breathed from within. The pews were broken, but dozens of candles burned fresh, their flames steady in air too still to move. "Someone's been here," she murmured, her voice small in the vast silence. Then came the sound, a soft, rhythmic chanting from beneath the altar. The words were Latin, old and wrong. She found a trap door under the cracked stone, its rusted chains snapping apart with her touch. Below, a spiral staircase plunged into the earth. The deeper she went, the louder the chanting grew. The air thickened with rot. Her flashlight trembled across carvings of kneeling humans worshiping a faceless figure with wings of bone. When the stairs ended, she found herself in a vast crypt lined with coffins. In the center stood a stone altar dark with dried blood. The chanting stopped. Then the shadows moved. They weren't people anymore. Pale bodies, eyes sewn shut, mouths whispering though no breath came. They crawled toward her, fingers scraping the stone, their voices merging into one phrase: "Stay and pray." Amelia ran, crashing through bones and broken wood. She burst through the trap door into a world transformed. The church was whole again, filled with candlelight and faces. Hundreds sat in the pews, silent, watching her. A priest stood at the altar, smiling as if welcoming a child home. "Welcome, Sister Frost," he said gently. "We've been waiting." Her voice shook. "What is this?" He spread his arms wide. "You broke the seal. Now you must complete the prayer." The crowd rose in unison, their eyes black, their skin wax pale. The floor trembled. From the cracks, a voice hissed like boiling water. "She awakes." The priest raised his hands. "The Mother of Hollows shall feed again." From the floor, something massive stirred. A woman's figure, rising, draped in dripping robes, her face a void of whispering mouths. She reached out, her cold fingers grazing Amelia's chest. "Your heart still beats. Let me still it." Pain exploded through her body. She screamed as the church dissolved into smoke and darkness. When she opened her eyes, sunlight poured through a broken roof. The church was ruins again, silent and empty. She crawled outside, gasping for air. A dream. Just a dream. But when she looked into a puddle near the steps, her reflection wasn't alone. Behind her stood the priest, smiling faintly. That night, she returned to the inn shaking. The innkeeper's face turned gray. "You went inside. You shouldn't have." He handed her an old burned book, the chapel's final ledger. The last entry read, October 31st, 1958. The congregation has vanished below. The bell tolls for those who enter after midnight. The clock struck 12. The bell rang once, then twice. She froze. The church lights flickered to life in the fog. Figures in robes began walking toward the town, silent and slow. One by one, every door in Ashmere opened. Villagers stepped outside, eyes blank, moving toward the church as if called by an invisible hand. The fog swallowed them whole. At dawn, The town was empty. Fires still burned in hearths. Breakfast lay half-eaten on tables. Only silence remained. Weeks later, a rescue team arrived and found nothing but an old camera recording the altar. The final frame showed St. Alora's chapel glowing softly in the mist. Inside, a congregation knelt in prayer, and at the altar stood a new priestess. Dr. Amelia Frost smiled at the camera, eyes black and endless. "Welcome," she whispered to the congregation. 2 weeks after the disappearance of Dr. Amelia Frost, government investigators sealed off the town of Ashmere. The official report said chemical contamination, but locals from neighboring villages knew better. They spoke of fog that whispered names, of bells that rang from nowhere, and of shadows moving inside the church's broken windows. But no one dared to enter St. Alora's chapel until Detective Marcus Hale came. Marcus was not a believer. He'd seen corpses, killers, and things far worse made by human hands. Ghost stories didn't frighten him, but Amelia Frost was his sister. The last photo she sent him showed the ruined chapel glowing faintly in the fog, with the words, "They're not gone, Marcus. They're waiting."